New rule: people who don't have a degree in something, for example, medicine, should keep their opinions to themselves. This should go for any other scientific or higher education discipline too, such as biology, climatology, cosmology, physics, economics, and even chemistry, although that one you can opine on in the classroom or on the weekends with your friends, a few bottles, and a significant other. But since I'm a doctor and my degree is medicine, I'm going to talk about that. Bill Maher, a regular topic on my podcast, recently had some choice words about the medical profession. Apparently, medicine is like religion now.
Because it turns out medicine is a lot like religion. It has to do with your mortality, so it's super scary, and people just want to believe in some kind of priesthood who tells you they know what you couldn't possibly know, and only they can keep you safe. But if doctors really were so infallible, then why are there so many TV shows about an eccentric genius doctor constantly proving that all the other doctors are idiots?
The difference between religion and medicine, though, is in religion there's this one big mysterious book written by a guy no one's ever met who apparently knows everything but won't show up for office hours. In medicine, we have multiple books, and they're written by real people whose names and credentials you can actually check. Also, we never claim to be infallible. We've got peer review, replication studies, and a thing called evidence. It's not some closed-off priesthood where only a few can be initiated. Medicine is open to anyone who's willing to put in the time and effort to learn it. And by time and effort, I mean 4 years of pre-med, 4 years of medical school, and 3 to 5 years of residency. So yes, Bill, you too could understand medicine. You just need to pay for the education to get into Club Med. And we know you've got the cash.
When I gave the Obama PAC $1 million in 2012, it does hurt me to write a check for $1 million.
Twice I gave $1 million to a cause, to Obama.
I went through this in 2012 when I made that $1 million donation to Obama. By the way, that million looked sillier 5 weeks ago when I did it. The common, everyday millionaire has to step up to the Democrats.
You also claim doctors killed Matthew Perry, Michael Jackson, Prince, Tom Petty, and more rock stars than twin-engine planes. Got a nice laugh from the crowd on that one too, but let's break this down. Do you really believe these celebrities just waltzed into a random doctor's office, asked for a drug cocktail, and the doctor said, "Sure, here's a prescription, have fun. Don't forget to pay on your way out"? Is that really what happened? Celebrities, like everyone else, can have diseases. Some of those diseases are addictions. And no, doctors don't want to hand over a death sentence. We try to help. But newsflash, people in the midst of addiction can be persistent. They find the weak links. The doctors who say yes when everyone else says no. The behavior of the doctors that prescribe celebrities medications they overdose on, such as Matthew Perry and the others you mentioned, has a term. It's called malpractice. But you're acting like medicine is the only field that has a lot of bad actors. Lawyers and politicians, musicians, actors, producers, comedians. You're lamenting that putting chemicals in people's bodies is some new form of witchcraft. That's something that's been done for centuries. Chinese and Indian doctors were giving people chemicals for 5,000 years. But because it's natural, somehow that makes it better? Because something is natural doesn't make it good or useful. Dog poop is natural, but you wouldn't use it to solve world hunger. And no, rubbing dirt on an injury doesn't make it better, contrary to what every sports dad in America seems to think. Plus, a lot of medications we use today come from nature. Penicillin, that was discovered by accident when a scientist forgot to clean up his moldy bread. The ketamine that killed Matthew Perry isn't bad because it killed him. It was used inappropriately. Yes, it was illegal in the 70s, and now it's approved by the FDA. But marijuana was illegal in the 30s. And now it's approved for a variety of medicinal purposes. A drug being illegal says more about society's values rather than the value of the drug to society. Many drugs could have medical value that are abused by the population, which like the effects it gives them at extreme doses. Used correctly, however, under a good doctor's supervision, and they can be life-saving. In fact, anything that can be used inappropriately can be damaging and even deadly. Did you know water can kill people? Do some doctors overprescribe? Sure. But do you really think all doctors are just throwing Ozempic at people without telling them to exercise first? No. We tell people to get up, move, and eat better. But here's the kicker. A lot of people don't want to. They want an easy fix. And if they don't get it from one doctor, they'll just go to another. It's as if Dr. Seuss went to med school before his writing career. Is it just that you think doctors are money-hungry demons that are taking advantage of people for profit because they're the ones that wrote opiate prescriptions or that they're writing prescriptions via apps? But you're forgetting CMS instituted healthcare consumer questionnaires, which included pain management questions that pressured doctors to consider pain as the fifth vital sign and push for patients to never be in pain. Or that those online apps aren't owned by doctors. Those protocols and policies are written by executives whose singular goal is to make billions of dollars for shareholders, not to pay doctors exorbitant commissions. Here's the reality. Most doctors start their careers hundreds of thousands of dollars in debt. And after 4 years of college, 4 years of med school, and up to 5 years of residency, a new doctor can easily be looking at $300,000 to $400,000 in student loans. And then there's the cost of malpractice insurance, continuing education, and all the other expenses that come with being in this profession. Doctors aren't getting rich off prescriptions. We're trying to pay off our loans and maybe save a life or two along the way. You're also missing the bigger picture here, and I'm shocked that as a liberal you're choosing to ignore it. Medicine in the United States is a for-profit cartel, a system that's structured so doctors are at the bottom of the totem pole because their reimbursement is managed by companies whose goal is not to pay them for their work, but to reward themselves and their shareholders. Doctors are required to see as many people as possible in the shortest amount of time. Insurances demand they complete authorizations, then blame them for side effects of the medications they're forced to prescribe, even though better options are available but denied. And when they speak up, they get fired from hospital positions, get bad reviews, or are dropped by those same insurance companies. Hospitals are just offices which get paid by the cartel to keep the machine running, which is made up of the financiers, which are the insurance companies, and the suppliers, the pharmaceutical companies, who then pay off the police, the United States government. You see, in this country, as long as the money keeps flowing upwards, the suffering flows downwards. And as much as you love to tout Obama's accomplishments, he didn't change this structure with the Affordable Care Act. Insurance and pharmaceutical companies are making more than ever, and the police continue to be paid as before. I think you suffer from the same problem that you complain about in Trumpism, the disease of me. It doesn't happen to me, so why should it happen to you? I shop at Whole Foods and only eat bird food, so why can't you? Which ignores that 70% of Americans live in food deserts that don't have that luxury. I'm super skinny and don't need medicine to keep me healthy, so why do you need all that stuff in your body? But diabetes and hypertension, among other problems like cancer, are not just fat guy diseases. Sometimes the pancreas just doesn't make insulin, and 30 to 50% of blood pressure has genetic heritability. I had a good childhood, went to an Ivy League school, so I've never been depressed. What's your problem? But 15% of the population that's been diagnosed with major depression isn't so lucky. And the one you love to talk about the most, how you smoke pot all the time and it never causes any problems, so it must be completely safe. While I agree that marijuana has a lot of medical benefit, and I support its legalization, you constantly ignore that it too is a drug, just like ketamine, Adderall, Ritalin, OxyContin, and psilocybin, which also is in research and is coming on the market soon. Marijuana can also have negative consequences for some people, even when it's not abused. The thing is, I like you, Bill, I like your show, and I agree with a lot of your opinions on things. But this is a major blind spot for you, because it's easy to pick on the low-hanging fruit when you buddy up with the rich guys, especially when you want to hang with them and have them come on your show. But I guess I can understand, though, you'd hate to piss those people off. Maybe next time they won't take your $1 million. Who am I kidding? If there's one thing we can both agree on, is that anyone will take money from a pothead.